It's the 90s, and you just got the new Sony PlayStation for Christmas. Amazing, you say? I can't wait to play my new game on this revolutionary new console. But when the game boots up, you see a message. This game cannot be saved without a memory card. No! Hello and welcome to part 3 of the history of saving your game. In part 1 there's save batteries, part 2 is about cartridge saves that didn't require a battery. In this part we're talking about memory cards. When boardrooms first started throwing around the idea of a CD-based game console, a problem came up. How would you save progress on these things? You can't put a save battery on one, and data can't be rewritten on like a floppy disk. They'd have to be written on a separate unit, one that would work like a rewritable chip. It needed a memory card. Ironically though, the first game console to use a memory card wasn't even a CD console, it was a Neo Geo AES, a cartridge console that defied the laws of gaming. Its memory cards weren't like the ones used on the GameCube or PS2, they were like battery-backed ROM on the NES or Genesis, and like you guessed, they dry out over time. The Sega CD copied the format, and before long these cards became the norm on CD consoles, except for the TurboGrafx 16 CD, which used a HuCard-like memory card, a much better idea than battery-backed ROM, but no one ever gives them credit. It was a whole new world in 1994 because two big new consoles would change the world of gaming forever, the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn. Both consoles, kind of, upgraded from batteries to flash memory. I say kind of because apparently some models of the Saturn memory card saved to a battery for some godforsaken reason. This generation is really the birth of a standard proprietary memory cards we know today. Even the N64, which could have games very easily written into the cards, had its own memory card which a few select titles saved to. This does lead to all those stories when kids back in the 90s got a new console and game, but he couldn't save because they didn't have a memory card though. I'm so glad that never happened to me. In 1998, the greatest memory card of all time was made by Sega, the Dreamcast memory card, or VMU. Not only could it be saved onto like all memory cards can, but it had its own tiny screen like a Game Boy. It would go onto the controller and work as a second screen, sort of like a predecessor to the Wii U gamepad. The VMU also had the ability to exchange data from another VMU, without the need of a TV or Dreamcast. It could even have its own games written on it and be taken away from the main console to be played like its own, being a switch before the Switch. The VMU is also pretty expensive, but there are variants that only saved and didn't come with a screen that are way cheaper. Other game companies didn't copy Sega, which is both relieving because Sega's grave wouldn't be dug deeper, at least for a while, but disappointing because it was a cool concept. The other three home consoles of the 6th gen, the PS2, GameCube, and Xbox, saved games to standard memory cards like the gen before. But the Xbox also had a big new innovation, internal memory, so much that you really never need a memory card. When the 7th gen machines came around, proprietary memory cards were dead and replaced by generic SD cards and USB drives, as well as internal memory. The original models of the Xbox 360 had its own memory card, but Microsoft realized that no one was using them, so they scrapped it in later models. We had a GameCube memory card slot, although it could only be used in GameCube games, which were backwards compatible. The PSP and PS Vita had their own too, with the PS Vita being the final video game console to have its own proprietary memory card. Alright, I'm recording this separate from the rest of the audio and the video because while editing this video, I found out that the Xbox Series X will have its own proprietary memory card, which is pretty sweet. So, yeah, I was wrong about the PS Vita being the last. Who knows what the last will be. Today, things like microSD cards and external hard drives really only serve as a backup for the most part. That's because they're replaced by the next evolutionary step, as I said earlier, internal memory. Stay tuned for part 4.